Chapter 2 The Night of the Attack. It was a hot summer day and I had decided to seal coat my asphalt driveway. I had spent about $800 on the materials, determined to make the driveway look pristine. I was out there all day using a squeegee to spread the tar sealant, working from morning until it got dark around 9 or 10 at night. By the time I was done, I was exhausted and filthy with black tar all over my feet. I went inside to take a much-needed shower at around 11 o'clock at night. As I was rinsing off the grime, I heard a series of loud bangs. Bam! 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 Someone was hitting my house with a baseball bat. My lawyer later described my house as a shotgun house, because you can see straight through it from one end to the other. Standing in my bathroom, I could see right through to the front door. Moments later, I heard a gunshot. I jumped out of the shower, adrenaline pumping, wrapped a towel around myself and saw the intruder through the whole length of my house. My bedroom is right next to the bathroom, so I grabbed my gun without a second thought. I cocked it instinctively, not hesitating for a moment, and went straight towards the door. They fired on my door jamb. The guy also had a weapon that looked like it belonged in medieval times, 9-inch nails sticking out of it, making it deadly. One hit from that thing would have incapacitated or killed me. When I got to the door, there was no time for talking. I cocked my gun and walked straight up to him, putting the barrel to his forehead. "What are you gonna do? Kill me?" he sneered. "I don't know yet," I replied and pulled the trigger next to his ear. The blast blew out his eardrum and he fell back, hitting his head on the concrete, blood gushing everywhere. I took the bat from him, flipped it around and cracked him twice in the forehead, knocking him out cold, but he wasn't done. When he woke up, he came at me again, so I pistol whipped him until he turned into a wet noodle on the ground. I dragged him to his car, barely noticing the other person, a girl, running around the yard screaming. There were 3 attackers that night. One of them was a girl. I had never seen her before in my life. She was standing outside recording or calling someone on her phone. I saw her screen light up in the darkness. As I was outside fighting the guy with the bat, I noticed another figure in the bushes. So, there was the girl, the guy with the spiked bat, and the driver of the car. The driver was a military veteran. He had all these war stories and was supposed to be some sort of tough guy. I pointed my gun at them and boom! Another felony firearm charge for me. That's another 4 years in prison because I aimed my weapon at the attackers. These people who were there to harm me suddenly became innocent victims in the eyes of the law. I was just trying to defend my home, but pointing my gun at them turned me into a criminal. Anyway, when I had put my gun to his forehead, he thought twice about messing with me. He decided to back off and squealed out of there, taking the guy I had knocked out with him. I was still naked, my towel long gone as I walked back to the car. I put the barrel of my Ruger to the man's forehead once more. This time, he got the message and decided to drive away. They squealed the tires and drove away after I put him in the car. He was bleeding all over the place, leaving a bloody mess inside the vehicle. The fire department came to my house too, with their water cannons blasting the blood off my driveway. That's how much blood there was. It had become a hazard. I really hurt the guy badly, and he bled a lot, but I didn't shoot him and I never intended to hurt him that much. He just wouldn't stop being violent toward me and I had to protect myself. The fire department sent a group of paramedics from Med Team 5 or something like that. They're supposed to be the best, and they were the ones who claimed he got shot. When they picked him up, it was at a Shell gas station. He walked from the car to the ambulance himself. Now, how could he do that if he was shot in the head with a .40 caliber handgun? He wouldn't have a head left. Yet somehow this guy walked to the ambulance and then they flew him off in a helicopter to another hospital. He went through 2 hospitals and a helicopter ride, and nobody could figure out that he hadn't been shot in the head. Moments later, the road outside my house was shut down and I was surrounded by 5 police departments. Assault rifles and tactical shotguns were pointed at me. Locked and loaded, they forced me face down into the dirt, and I was hauled off to jail for protecting myself in my own home. My neighbors, though, they knew better. When the police shut down the road and department showed up, my neighbors didn't even answer the door. That's how much they trust me. They believed in me and knew what really happened. The lady next door has 3 daughters who love my dog. They have chickens, I have chickens, and I look out for them. They know I'm not a bad guy. When the police banged on the door, you can see in the body camera footage I posted to YouTube that my neighbors didn't even answer. They knew I was telling the truth. They stood by me when it mattered the most. I can't wrap my head around it. Were these people just terrible at their jobs, or did they have some ulterior motive? I had owned my gun, an SR-40C Ruger subcompact .40 caliber, for 7 years. It's a small but powerful handgun capable of shooting through an engine block. If someone got shot in the head with it, there wouldn't be a head left. It baffles me how they made such a mistake. They didn't even know what kind of gun was involved. Was it a shotgun? A .22? A handgun? This guy's story worked out well for him. He claimed he was pulling out BBs from his skin, but there was no shotgun, no birdshot, no buckshot. I owned shotguns, but I didn't use one that night. The whole thing turned into a massive rigmarole with my lawyer. They had to contact the manufacturers of all the bullets in the United States to see if they made handgun rounds that shot birdshot out of a .40 caliber. It came back negative, of course. It was all a big lie. The guy claimed BBs were falling out in the shower and then he couldn't recover them. He made up stories about fake bullets from a fake gun, and somehow everybody believed it. This whole ordeal has left me questioning everything. How could so many professionals, from paramedics to hospital staff, get it so wrong? It felt like a bad dream where nothing made sense and the truth was buried under layers of incompetence and lies. All I know is that night, I did what I had to do to protect myself, and the aftermath has been a hell of misunderstanding and injustice. That night changed everything. It was the beginning of a legal nightmare that would add to the chaos of my already complicated life. But when I was lying in the dirt, surrounded by law enforcement, I knew one thing for sure. I would fight to clear my name no matter what it took.